Welcome to another edition of Martin's Empowerment Moment. On yesterday, I spoke with you about the 5-step process to the empowerment experience, which was you need to engage people. So the engagement factor, sparking a connection that matters. Then after you engage them, you need to make sure that you have an element of encouragement. So step 1, engagement. Step 2, encouragement. Step 3 is education. Educate. And then after you give them the information and things that they need, then also you need to make sure that you give the tools, which is the equipping process. And last but not least is the empowerment process. When you take all 4 of those first things, some you have to do, some you don't, based on where people are, whether they have the education, whether they're already engaged and encouraged or not. Whichever ones they need, then that's what you need to give them. I mean, whichever ones they're missing, that's what you need to give them. But let's talk today about the engagement process, welcoming people and how you greet them. People always say first impression is a lasting impression. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you create a culture of believing at the first hello. That initial welcoming, the orientation to your company needs to set the emotional connection and tone for that new employee, that new team member that says, you matter here. Once you get that that connection of belonging at that first hello, you need to spark their curiosity and conversation. In other words, you want that engaged employee to want to desire to know more about you and your company. That warm, intentional greeting should open the door for deeper engagement and a sense of shared purpose. In other words, give them their why in that initial orientation. You matter here because you bring this to our team, to our organization. And then last, but definitely not least, turn that first impression into lasting ownership. When people feel seen, when they feel valued, when they feel that they matter, then they take ownership. And that's where you need to start from, creating that ownership. And they're more likely, if you're able to create that type of connection and conversation and engagement, they're more likely to take future initiative and ownership as they join your organization. So once again, there's a 5-step process to the empowerment experience, which is engagement and encouragement, education, equipping, and empowerment. But it starts with your ability to engage. If you don't meet people where they are, you can't get them to where you want to go, and do that by creating a you matter here mindset and feeling in that first meeting that sparks a deeper connection and conversation and sparks curiosity and answers their why question. And then last but not least, it generates a sense of ownership, which will lead to them taking initiative and ownership in future actions. Thank you and have a great day.